Last night, while you were asleep, something inside you was wide awake. It was not random. It was not chaotic. It was not meaningless noise from a tired brain. It was a message. And the uncomfortable truth is this: the part of you that dreams knows more about your life than the part of you that stays awake. You may dismiss your dreams as strange stories, falling from buildings, being chased, losing your teeth, meeting someone who feels more real than the people in your daily life. But what if those experiences are not accidents? What if your dreams are not escaping reality, but trying to correct it? Most people spend their entire lives ignoring the most honest voice they have, the voice that only speaks when the ego goes silent. Tonight, we're going to explore something deeper. Because your dreams are more intentional than you think. And once you understand why, you will never sleep the same way again. During the day, you perform. You wake up and step into a role. You adjust your tone. You edit your thoughts. You calculate your reactions. You show strength when you feel weak. You show confidence when you feel insecure. You show patience when something inside you wants to scream. You show kindness when resentment quietly builds in the background. You smile when you are exhausted. You say, "I'm fine," when you are anything but fine. This is not hypocrisy. It is survival. The conscious mind builds a mask to move through society. It learns what is acceptable and what must be hidden. It learns which emotions earn approval and which ones threaten belonging. So you craft a persona: efficient, agreeable, strong, composed. And over time, you start believing that mask is you. But the psyche demands balance. What you push down does not disappear. It waits. It gathers pressure. It seeks expression. And when you finally fall asleep, the part of you that has been silenced all day steps forward. Sleep science shows that during REM sleep, the phase most associated with vivid dreaming, the emotional centers of the brain become highly active, while the rational, controlling parts quiet down. The inner sensor loses its grip. The executive voice that says, "Don't think that. Don't feel that. Stay composed," fades into the background. And in that silence, something honest begins to speak. If you are overly rational during the day, your dreams may become irrational and emotional. If you pride yourself on logic, your nights may flood with chaos. If you suppress anger because you want to be the calm one, your dreams may contain aggression, shouting, fighting, explosions. If you deny fear because you want to appear brave, you may find yourself running through dark streets, chased by something you cannot quite see. This is not random. It is compensation. The psyche is self-regulating. It seeks equilibrium between the image you project and the truth you feel. The more rigid your daytime identity becomes, the more dramatic your dreams may grow in order to restore balance. Think about someone who insists they are fine. After a breakup, they tell their friends they've moved on. They throw themselves into work. They post photos that suggest freedom and strength. They convince themselves the chapter is closed. But at night, they dream of their ex repeatedly. They dream of conversations unfinished. They dream of being abandoned again. The psyche refuses to accept the lie the ego tells. It keeps presenting the wound until it is acknowledged. Your dreams are not attacking you. They are correcting you. They are revealing the emotions you edited out of your waking script. They are showing you the shadow of the role you insist on playing. If you present yourself as endlessly strong, your dreams may show you vulnerable. If you define yourself as independent, your dreams may show you longing for connection. If you cling to control, your dreams may dissolve everything into chaos. And this is where most people misunderstand the process. They wake up disturbed and say, "Why would I dream something like that? That's not me." But that is precisely the point. It is the part of you that you refuse to claim. The more extreme your daytime persona, the more extreme the compensation. A person who prides themselves on being nice at all costs may dream of violent confrontations. A person who avoids conflict may dream of shouting at authority figures. A person who suppresses sadness may dream of floods, storms, drowning. The imagery may seem exaggerated, but the message is simple: balance what you are denying. Imagine a man who has built his identity around being the dependable provider. He never complains. He never shows doubt. He carries responsibility like armor. Everyone admires his strength. But at night, he dreams of being lost in a forest, unable to find his way home. He wakes up unsettled, confused. The dream is not insulting him. It is revealing that beneath the armor, there is uncertainty. There is fatigue. There is a part of him that feels overwhelmed and directionless. The forest is not weakness. It is truth-seeking acknowledgement. The psyche does not punish you for wearing a mask. It simply refuses to let the mask become permanent. When you dream of chaos, ask yourself, where am I pretending everything is under control? When you dream of being exposed, ask, where am I performing confidence I do not feel? When you dream of being chased, ask, what emotion am I running from in daylight? This is the deeper invitation. Instead of dismissing your dreams as nonsense, treat them as mirrors. They do not speak the language of logic. They speak the language of symbol, intensity, exaggeration. But beneath that imagery lies a precise intention to make you whole. Because the goal of the psyche is not perfection. It is integration. It does not want you to destroy your persona. It wants you to soften it. It wants you to allow strength and vulnerability to coexist. Confidence and doubt. Kindness and anger. Control and surrender. When you consciously acknowledge what you feel, the dreams often soften. When you admit your resentment, the explosions fade. When you allow yourself to grieve, the haunting images lose their grip. Your nights are not random hallucinations. They are negotiations between the person you think you are and the person you truly are. And every dream is asking the same quiet questions. Will you continue performing, or will you begin integrating? That stranger chasing you in the dark, have you ever stopped to ask why his face feels strangely familiar? That mysterious guide who appears at the edge of a cliff, offering direction without explanation. Why does their presence feel both foreign and intimate at the same time? That child who looks at you with innocence or accusation, that shadowy figure standing silently in the corner. None of them are random. None of them are accidental visitors wandering into your sleep. They are you. Not the version of you that introduces itself confidently in public. Not the version that curates its words and controls its expressions. They are the hidden fragments, the dissound emotions, the unrealized strengths, the traits you buried because they did not fit the identity you chose to survive. Modern psychology speaks of projection, the tendency to attribute our unwanted traits to other people. We see arrogance in others while denying our own pride. We accuse others of weakness while ignoring our own fear. Dreams use the same mechanism, but they do it symbolically. Instead of projecting outward onto real people, the psyche creates characters that embody the parts of you that remain unintegrated. If you dream of a confident, fearless person leading you through unfamiliar territory, it may not be about admiration. It may be about a dormant courage within you that has never been expressed. The guide in your dream might be the version of yourself that you are becoming but have not yet claimed. You wake up feeling inspired, unsettled, curious, because something inside you recognizes that strength is yours. If you dream of someone criticizing you harshly, humiliating you, pointing out your flaws, it may not be about an external enemy. It may reflect your own inner critic, the voice that questions your worth, your decisions, your progress. The dream externalizes that voice so you can see it clearly. What feels like an attack is often a reflection. One man once described recurring dreams of a wild wolf watching him from a distance. The wolf never attacked. It simply observed. In his waking life, he was polite, agreeable, conflict avoidant. He prided himself on being calm and non-threatening. But he also felt overlooked, underestimated, quietly resentful. Through reflection, he realized the wolf symbolized his suppressed assertiveness, the instinct he refused to acknowledge. The dream was not about danger lurking outside. It was about power he had buried within. You see, the psyche speaks in symbols because symbols bypass resistance. If your mind directly declared, "You are suppressing anger," you would defend yourself. You would explain it away. You would rationalize. But if it shows you a volcano erupting, you feel the heat. You experience the intensity. The image bypasses logic and speaks to emotion. That child in your dream may represent vulnerability you abandoned too early. The shadowy figure may embody traits you consider unacceptable: jealousy, ambition, rage, desire. The mysterious guide may represent wisdom that has always been within you but was drowned out by noise. Even the villain in your dream is not purely evil. It is often a distorted form of energy you have refused to integrate. Every dream character is a mirror. Even the frightening ones, especially the frightening ones. The parts of yourself that frighten you are usually the parts with the most untapped power. If you dream of being chased, consider what quality the pursuer represents. Is it confrontation? Is it responsibility? Is it desire? Something is trying to catch up to you because you keep running from it in waking life. You might dream of someone bold and unapologetic, speaking truths you would never dare to say. You wake up disturbed, maybe even embarrassed. But what if that character represents a voice inside you that longs for expression? What if the dream is rehearsing the courage you need? The psyche does not create random theater. It creates symbolic drama designed for integration. It separates aspects of you into characters so you can interact with them, so you can observe them, so you can decide whether to continue rejecting them or begin accepting them. When you start asking, "What part of me is this character expressing?" your relationship with your dreams changes. The stranger becomes familiar. The monster becomes a message. The guide becomes a calling. Instead of waking up confused, you wake up curious. And something powerful happens when you recognize yourself in every figure. You stop dividing your personality into good and bad, acceptable and unacceptable. You begin to see that wholeness requires acknowledging everything: your light and your darkness, your gentleness and your aggression, your certainty and your doubt. Because the goal is not to eliminate the wolf. It is to integrate its strength without losing your humanity. The goal is not to silence the inner critic completely, but to transform it into constructive awareness instead of destructive shame. The goal is not to destroy the shadowy figure, but to understand what energy it carries. Your dreams are staging conversations between the parts of you that refuse to meet during the day. And the more you listen, the more you realize that nothing inside you is accidental. The figures in your dreams are not strangers. They are invitations. They are fragments of your own depth asking to be seen, understood, and finally embraced. If a dream repeats, it is not coincidence. It is persistence. Your mind does not waste energy replaying meaningless images. When the same scene returns again and again, the same hallway, the same exam room, the same dark street where something follows you, it is because something inside you remains unfinished. The psyche does not shout randomly. It repeats intentionally. Research in sleep psychology suggests that recurring dreams are often linked to unresolved emotional stress and ongoing internal conflict. The brain revisits what has not been emotionally processed. It circles around the wound. It replays the tension. It reconstructs the symbol in different variations, hoping this time you will recognize it. The mind repeats what has not been integrated. You may repeatedly dream of failing an exam long after you have left school behind. You sit down at a desk. The questions make no sense. The clock is ticking. Panic rises in your chest. You wake up with the familiar feeling of being exposed, unprepared, not enough. It is rarely about academics. It is about adequacy. It is about the quiet fear that you are not ready for the responsibility you carry, that you will be judged and found lacking, that at any moment, someone will discover you are improvising your way through life. The classroom is symbolic. The deeper lesson is psychological, or you may repeatedly dream of being chased. You are running through streets, forests, buildings. You never quite see what is behind you, but you feel its presence. Your heart races. Your legs feel heavy. You wake up just before being caught. This dream is rarely about physical danger. It often reflects avoidance, a decision you keep postponing, a conversation you keep delaying, a truth about yourself that you are not ready to face. The pursuer is not your enemy. It is your responsibility, your anger, your grief, your ambition, something you keep running from during the day. And because you refuse to turn toward it consciously, it chases you unconsciously. Your psyche is patient, but it is relentless. It does not punish you. It persists with you. Think about how often you ignore subtle discomfort in waking life. A quiet dissatisfaction in your job, a growing distance in your relationship, a creative desire you suppress because it feels impractical. At first, the signals are gentle, a feeling of boredom, a flicker of frustration, a moment of envy when you see someone else living differently. But if you silence those signals long enough, they intensify, they move into your dreams. A woman once shared that she dreamed for years about missing flights, always rushing through crowded airports, always watching the gate close just before she arrived, always feeling the sting of being too late. In her waking life, she was stuck in a career she secretly hated. She told herself it was stable, responsible, safe. She convinced herself she could endure it. But inside, she felt time slipping. The flight symbolized opportunity. The repetition symbolized her delay. Every time she dismissed her dissatisfaction, the dream returned. When she finally made the decision to change her path, when she stopped rationalizing and started acting, the dream stopped. Your dreams end when your lesson begins. This is the profound truth most people overlook. Recurring dreams are not curses. They are invitations. They are unfinished chapters asking for completion. And the repetition is not there to torment you. It is there to ensure you cannot forget. Sometimes the repetition shifts slightly. The exam becomes harder. The pursuer gets closer. The airport becomes more chaotic. The psyche adjusts the intensity when the message is ignored. It is not escalating to scare you. It is escalating to reach you. And the moment you respond consciously, the moment you confront the person you've been avoiding, the moment you admit the career is draining you, the moment you acknowledge the fear instead of denying it, something changes internally. The energy that fueled the dream begins to dissolve. The psyche no longer needs to dramatize the message because you have heard it. You might even notice that the dream evolves. Instead of running, you turn around. Instead of failing the exam, you find yourself prepared. Instead of missing the flight, you arrive on time. This is not magic. It is integration. The internal conflict has shifted, so the symbol shifts with it. Recurring dreams are your inner teacher refusing to give up on you. They are the part of you that believes you are capable of more alignment, more courage, more honesty. They repeat not because you are broken, but because you are resisting growth. So the next time a dream returns for the 10th time, do not ask, "Why is this happening to me?" Ask, "What is this trying to teach me that I keep postponing?" Ask where in your waking life you feel stuck in the same loop. Ask what decision you keep circling without committing to. Because your psyche does not repeat what is resolved. It repeats what is waiting. And the moment you step into the lesson, the moment you move toward what you have been avoiding, the dream will no longer need to chase you. It will have done its job. We treat nightmares as enemies. We wake up with our hearts racing, sheets tangled, breath uneven, and we say, "Why is my mind doing this to me?" We label the experience as disturbance, as malfunction, as something to suppress or forget as quickly as possible. We turn on the lights. We check our phones. We distract ourselves from the residue of fear. But nightmares are not attacks from within. They are intensifications. They are what happens when the quieter signals have been ignored for too long. When whispers go unheard, the psyche raises its voice. When subtle discomfort is dismissed, the imagery becomes dramatic. It is not cruelty. It is urgency. During waking life, you are skilled at overriding your emotions. You rationalize. You minimize. You tell yourself, "It's not that bad." You compare your pain to others and decide you have no right to feel what you feel. You pride yourself on being resilient, composed, unshaken. But resilience without processing becomes repression. And repression does not disappear. It accumulates. When emotional stress becomes too great, The psyche increases the volume. Trauma research has shown that nightmares often replay or symbolically represent unresolved emotional pain. The mind is attempting to process experiences that were too overwhelming to fully feel in real time. When something shocks you, betrays you, humiliates you, or frightens you deeply, your nervous system sometimes goes into survival mode. You cope by pushing forward. You function. You survive. But survival is not the same as integration. Imagine someone who endured betrayal. They discovered lies. They felt the ground collapse beneath them. But instead of allowing themselves to feel the grief and rage, they chose to stay strong. They told themselves they would not let it break them. They buried the hurt and moved on quickly. On the surface, they appear composed, independent, unaffected. At night, however, they may dream of being attacked unexpectedly. They may dream of someone breaking into their home. They may dream of falling from a height without warning. The imagery is intense, even violent. But the dream is not punishing them. It is attempting to process vulnerability that was never fully felt. The attack symbolizes betrayal. The invasion symbolizes broken trust. The fall symbolizes the loss of security. The nightmare is the nervous system saying, "You did not finish feeling this." Nightmares confront you with what you refuse to confront consciously. And here is the paradox that most people never realize. The more you run from the nightmare, the more it chases you. The more you label it as just a bad dream and avoid reflecting on it, the more likely it is to return. Avoidance feeds intensity. Think about how often the dream places you in the position of being pursued. Something is after you. Something is growing closer. Something terrifying stands in front of you. This is not accidental staging. It mirrors your waking strategy of avoidance. You run from anger. You run from confrontation. You run from grief. So the psyche creates a scenario where running becomes the central theme. But something extraordinary happens when you begin to turn toward the image instead of away from it. When you wake up and ask, "What could this represent?" instead of, "How do I forget this?" you shift from victim to participant. Even symbolically facing the monster, through journaling, reflection, therapy, or honest conversation, begins to reduce its power. The nightmare loses some of its intensity because you are no longer denying its message. Fear in dreams often guards growth. The monster is rarely there to destroy you. It is there to protect something powerful you have not yet claimed. Behind rage is often self-respect. Behind grief is often love. Behind anxiety is often a desire for change. The frightening image is the gatekeeper. On the other side of the monster is integration. Consider someone who has always avoided conflict. They pride themselves on being peaceful, agreeable, easy to work with. But deep inside, resentment builds because their needs go unspoken. They may begin having nightmares of violent confrontations, screaming arguments, chaotic fights. They wake up ashamed, disturbed by their own aggression. But the dream is not revealing that they are secretly violent. It is revealing energy they have refused to integrate, the energy of boundaries, assertion, power. When they begin to express themselves calmly, but firmly in waking life, when they learn to say no, when they allow anger to inform rather than control them, the nightmares often soften. The aggression no longer needs to appear in extreme form because it has found a healthy channel. Nightmares are not evidence that you are broken. They are evidence that your psyche is still fighting for your wholeness. They show you where the wound is still open. They show you where fear has been frozen instead of felt. They show you where growth is waiting behind resistance. The next time you wake up shaken, instead of asking why your mind betrayed you, consider the possibility that it is trying to protect you from long-term fragmentation. It is insisting that you not build your life on unprocessed pain, because the goal of the psyche is not comfort, it is integration, and sometimes, the only way to reach you is through a dream intense enough that you cannot ignore it. You are not static. You are not a fixed identity carved in stone. You are not the same person you were 5 years ago, even if your environment looks familiar. Beneath the routines, beneath the habits, Beneath the name you answer to, something is constantly shifting. You are becoming, and your dreams are blueprints of that becoming. Most people think dreams are only about the past, unresolved wounds, buried fears, forgotten memories. And yes, the past speaks through them. But there is another dimension, one that feels almost prophetic. Sometimes your dreams are not replaying who you were. They are rehearsing who you are capable of becoming. Have you ever dreamed of standing in a place you have never visited, yet it felt strangely natural? A new city, a new job, a new role where you moved with unexpected confidence. You wake up unsettled, but also inspired. That imagery may not be fantasy. It may be preparation. Athletes have reported dreaming of flawless performances before breakthrough competitions. Musicians have awakened with melodies fully formed in their minds. Scientists have described solutions appearing in symbolic dreams after struggling with complex problems for weeks. Research confirms that during sleep, the brain continues processing information, forming connections, solving puzzles beneath conscious awareness. But beyond performance and creativity, there is something deeper happening. Your dreams often introduce you to qualities you have not yet integrated. You may dream of a wiser older figure offering guidance. They speak calmly. They seem grounded. They see beyond your confusion. That figure may not represent someone else. It may represent a deeper layer of your own psyche, a more mature consciousness that you are slowly growing into. The dream places you in dialogue with your own potential wisdom. You may dream of descending into darkness, a cave, a basement, an underground tunnel, and emerging transformed. At first, the descent feels frightening. The air is heavy, the path is unclear, but when you return to the surface, something has shifted. This is the symbolic journey inward. The psyche rehearses the courage required to face your inner world before you consciously choose to do so. Or you may dream of discovering hidden rooms in your house. The house is often you. The hidden room is potential you have not explored. Perhaps in the dream you open a door you never noticed before. Behind it is a beautiful library, a spacious studio, a bright new space. You feel surprise, curiosity, even regret that you did not find it sooner. That room represents capacities you have ignored: creativity, intelligence, ambition, sensitivity. Parts of yourself that were never developed because you were too busy surviving, pleasing, or conforming. The psyche does not show you hidden rooms for entertainment. It shows them to expand your identity. You see, growth does not begin the moment you take action. It begins the moment your inner world shifts, and often, your dreams shift first. There are times in life when you feel restless without understanding why. You feel drawn towards something new, but you cannot articulate it. Then a dream appears. You are speaking confidently in front of others. You are building something with your hands. You are walking away from an old environment without fear. The dream may feel strange, unrealistic, but it plants a seed. It whispers, "This is also you." Your dreams are not just about correcting imbalance. They are about guiding integration. They are about introducing you to the future self that is waiting for your permission. When you ignore these dreams, you delay growth. You brush them off as imagination. You return to the familiar role. You shrink back into the version of yourself that feels safe. And the tension builds because somewhere inside, you have already seen who you could become. But when you reflect on them, when you ask what qualities the wise figure embodies, what the hidden room contains, what the transformation symbolizes, you accelerate self-awareness. You begin aligning your waking life with your inner blueprint. This process is not about becoming someone entirely new. It is about becoming more fully yourself. The confident speaker in your dream may represent the voice you have been afraid to use. The explorer may represent the risk taker you have suppressed. The healer may represent your empathy waiting to be expressed. The leader may represent your capacity for responsibility that you keep doubting. Your dreams are sketches of possibility. They show you fragments of your wholeness before you consciously claim them. And here is the most powerful realization: the future version of you is not created from nothing. It emerges from what already exists within you, hidden, waiting, rehearsing itself in the theater of your sleep. You are not static. You are becoming. Every night, your psyche adjusts the blueprint. It reveals a new room. It introduces a new guide. It walks you through darkness so you can recognize your own light. The question is not whether you are meant to grow. The question is whether you are willing to become the person your dreams keep showing you. Here is the deeper truth. You are not one unified being. You are layers, conscious and unconscious, persona and shadow, fear and potential, wound and wisdom. During the day, you live in a narrow slice of yourself, the socially acceptable, controllable identity. But at night, the deeper layers speak. Your dreams are intentional because your psyche is intentional. It wants wholeness. It wants balance. It wants integration. The question is not whether your dreams matter. The question is whether you are brave enough to listen. Tonight, when you close your eyes, something inside you will begin speaking again, not in sentences, not in logic, but in symbols. And if you pay attention, if you write them down, reflect on them, ask what they might be compensating for, what parts of you they represent, what lessons they repeat, you will begin to uncover something powerful. You will realize that your sleeping mind is not random. It is wise. It is strategic. It is guiding you toward a more complete version of yourself. And perhaps the most profound realization of all, you are not dreaming by accident. You are being shaped every night. The real transformation begins the moment you stop asking, "What did that dream mean?" and start asking, "What part of me is trying to wake up